Hey you all, welcome back to my channel. Let me fix this. I'm outside today because it's such a beautiful day. Like, oh my gosh. And there's Angel and Tess over there. You can see them. Okay, I came to share something really awesome that just happened. I just had a session with a client earlier today, and she came to me with something she wanted to work on, which was a huge anxiety around something specific that's been coming up in her life over and over again. First, I want to say, like, I'm so freaking grateful for what I'm doing because I am learning so much. I'm receiving so many teachings from my clients' bodies because the process is that her body told her exactly what was happening, what was going on, what was the root cause, and what to do when it happens in details to the T. And I'm not actually surprised because I've been doing this for a while and this is my method and the way I work with clients, and it's this way every single time. But I wanted to come and share this here with you because I feel like if you are someone that may experience anxiety, this is something that you can also use for yourself. It actually has been really powerful for me to witness and see what was coming up. So I'll share everything with you. So in the process, the first thing that we do is we're coming to the body. We started with like a little body scan just to kind of settle in the body and just like noticing her body. It was an hour and a half session actually, so I'm gonna make it really short to the nuggets that are important here. I started by bringing her body to a moment where she felt like this strong anxiety, and it was like, okay, we're gonna get to this moment and we're just gonna slow down and see what's arising in your body, and then we're gonna start becoming aware and have a relationship with it. So the first thing that came up for her was a like super heavy feeling in her feet, especially the right foot. Now, in terms of energetics, in terms of the chakras, you know, I'm all about the chakras, so I always work with the chakras as a map and seeing what it's about. So there's a lot of information in that that's already coming to me because hips down is associated with the root chakra. Root chakra is associated with safety, security, stability, belonging, groundedness, trust, all of these things. It was more in her right foot, which is more and it's not always this case, but in this case it was more like the right side is more the masculine side, the left side is more the feminine, right side is more the father side, left side is more the mother side. And it's not always this way, but a lot of times in the sessions, like based on what's coming up, we can actually see the connection of this. But at this point, I don't bring this up. It's only after the session I bring up all the things that are coming up around the energetics of things. Anyways, the first step, if you've been here for a while, you heard some of my processes that I do with clients, but the first step is to first identify what it is. So we're looking at color, texture, shape, the character of this sensation. So the next step is to become aware of her feeling toward that sensation, and then to sit next to the sensation and feeling its energy, like what's the vibe that she's getting off of it. And she could feel that he's basically, it felt like a male for her, and she said he's ignoring me. She started asking him, where did you come from? And the memory that came up for her was when she was in her early 20s, when she was in a concert and she was in a situation where in real life the memory was when she was with her ex-boyfriend and there was a lot of people around, but in the memory that came up, she was alone. So basically what it signifies that in that place, in that memory, in that concert, that's a place where that anxiety came up for her, like in a very intense way. And the message was around feeling alone and like not feeling safe. And again, she could have all the people in the world around her, but she felt alone in her experience. So I guided her to go as who she is today, to go to this version of herself, 20-year-old self, and to go and not necessarily fix or change anything, but just to be with her in the experience. First of all, we tested the water, see what's the relationship there. And thankfully in this case, sometimes that version of yourself there may be like lack of trust or lack of safety with each other, but in this case they held hands like right away. And what was happening in this moment is having her feeling her aloneness, but not feeling alone in her aloneness, right? So she was there with her, and the energy was not necessarily to fix it or change it, but just, I'm here with you in it. You're not alone and you're safe. And then she asked her, what do you want to do? And then she said, I want to go. I mean, I'm not sure. Maybe I want to go. I want to stay. And she could feel in her heart, the version of who she is today, she could feel that she wants to stay, but her pattern is to actually run away or move away from it or go from that situation. So she said she could feel that. And so she said, okay, we're going to stay. And just so you know that you're safe and we're here. And then there was a moment that was really beautiful that she spoke to her and she let her know that she's safe and that she's, everything that she wanted to tell her in this moment. And that was a moment, because this is something I talk a lot about, is everything is energy. You probably heard me say that a lot if you watch a lot of my videos, but everything is energy. So when we have a pattern, when we have a trauma, when we have a conditioning, when we have something physical, everything, the root of everything is energy. The root of everything is in the unseen, in the quantum field. And for this specific situation, the trauma, so just so you understand how we're working with the energy, the trauma, which was she felt alone in the situation, in this concert, and that had a specific energy. So what we did, by energy cannot be destroyed nor be created. It can only be transformed or transmuted. So what happened is she came as who she is today, back to that memory, and by her holding her hands with her and being with her in it and showing her that she's not alone, just by that, she transmuted the energy of that trauma. And, trauma can be anything from the way I personally see trauma. Some people may say something different. Trauma can be something that is from like big thing like abuse or sexual abuse or accident, but it can also be something small that happened, like that moment where she felt anxiety, where she passed out in that place. That was traumatizing for her, and so she went back as who she is today, and she transmuted the energy behind, because a lot of times we can try to like tell ourselves like, okay, I'm gonna stop this pattern. Oh, I'm gonna like, oh, I'm just not going to feel anxiety. Oh, I'm just going to breathe deep and I'm just going to, do this and that. But the reality is that the energy behind it is still the same. And so in this case, she was able to go back there and transmute the energy and shift the entire thing of what was happening. And it was something around safety, because when we went to her heart before that, her heart was saying the word safety, like not feeling safe. And it was a orange color, which orange is associated with the sacral chakra, because sacral chakra is associated with relationships, intimacy. Of course, there's more to it, but in this case, it was related to that. And I'll share with you exactly how. From there, we went back into the sensation in her foot, which after this process with her 20-year-old version of her, after that process, this sensation in her right foot felt way less heavy. So it felt way lighter, but there was still some things there. So the next question that we asked is there anything that you want to teach me? Anything that you would like me to know? And this is the part that I was like amazed, and the part that I decided to do this video for. This masculine energy of the sensation that she had in her right foot told her, yeah, like in those situations where you have those anxieties, you always think that you need to figure it out on your own, and you don't let other people support you in it. You don't let other people help you. And it's true, because that's what happens. Like that's what happens for her in these situations. And it comes down to lack of trust and lack of safety. And that masculine energy in her right foot was telling her that she can trust and she can let people help her. And it brought up specifically her partner, and saying that when you go through these places of anxiety, your partner can support you in it. And you just have to like open up and trust. Now, I'm going to share with you in a little bit, like some things are around trust. If you have some trust issues yourself, I'll share with you something around that it's important to know, because you can, like, saying like, okay, I'm just gonna trust, it's not really like working, because there's a lot of energetics around it, which I'll share in a little bit. But next thing you know, we asked her body, is there an actual practical steps that I can apply when I come out of this room in my life? The answer for that was, keep this in mind, keep this dialogue, keep this connection in mind. Whenever you come out of this, know that this is where it's at. In other words, come back to your body. Instead of going to like panic mode, come back to your body, in not just whenever the anxiety happens, but in general in your life. And so then we asked, okay, so in the moments where I'm in the anxiety, and obviously everything happens really fast, and usually we go straight into panic. What can I practice in these moments specifically? What can I practice to help myself to come back to my body, to remind myself to come back to my body? And her body, again, everything, the answers are all coming from her body. It's like insights. It comes in form of visions. It comes in form of sentence or a word or a feeling. So what her body was telling her is literally step by step. So you're gonna move your body, like shake your legs and your arms a little bit. And if you have people around you, you're gonna ask for a hug, or you can hug yourself, and just slow down and be present with the feeling, like almost like let it move through you, allow it to move through you, and give it the time and space to move through you. So instead of, like, when we have anxiety, a lot of times we're trying to run away from the anxiety, and that creates more panic. So the main message here was actually slow down and be present with it, and allow it to move through, allow it to do its thing and move through, and being present with it, and ask for support, ask for help, ask for a hug, move your body. And like, it was so insightful for me, because for me, when I'm going into anxiety, my thing is a little bit different. Like, what I do for myself is a little bit different. And I was just like, I'm so amazed, because we all have our own bodies and our own wisdom within us, and our body is going to guide us to what is the best and the right thing for us. Another thing for her that she said is really big, that was kind of repeating in the process over and over again, is to hold hands. Like, she held hand with her younger version of herself. She held hand with this sensation that was in her right foot. She, that's something that was kind of repeating for her, and that was something that she registered that is pretty significant for her. And there was a lot of things in this process that, there was a few other things that I don't even remember, because there was so much information and so much insights and so many insights and so much wisdom that was coming through. But like, all of these insights and information that was coming through, I could see it as like a blueprint that applies to everything in life. After the session, we were kind of sitting down and like talking about it and integrating it. Of course, I told her to journal about it like right away, because of all the information and insights that came up for her. But in terms of energetics, in terms of the chakras, the way that was coming up, we were working mainly with the root, the sacral, and the heart, especially the root. So the root is the one that's associated with safety, like I said earlier, and lack of trust in this case. So the thing that the significant thing that she realized from this session is that whenever she has this anxiety around this like specific thing that she does, it's not about the thing that she does. It's about safety. It's about trusting. It's about like receive support from others. And like I told her, there could be something deeper here, because when we work with the energy and with the chakras, there's endless layers. There's infinite layers, and there's always more, and like there's more deeper things. And so I told her, that thing of you of not being able to receive support, there may be some energetics behind that is way more ancient. Like, maybe something that's even generational or even from like a past life. And that's something a lot of times that we do in the sessions too. So I said, if you would like to go into this, there's more here that can happen, like that we can discover and become aware of, because awareness is more than 75%. Once we're actually aware of something, we have something to work with. So we could see that, and then we could see the sacral chakra, which was the thing around receiving support and around like one-on-one relationships and intimacy. And the big thing that she learned with the intimacy here, when she was with her younger version of herself, and when she was with that energy in her foot, when she brought in the intimacy in their relationship, there was a huge shift that was happening. And every time that she received more information, more guidance, more wisdom, more questions to her sensation in her right foot, there was less and less and less and less and less heaviness. So in terms of, that's when, the intimacy in the relationship and, her being very embodied, being like feeling the feeling that is in the body, all of these elements are very much like sacral chakra. And the aloneness is the root chakra, but it's also like the heart chakra. And so there was like a lot, like those three chakras was very dominant in this specific process, especially the root. And then the right side is, in this case, is associated with the masculine side. So the masculine side, like one of the energies that the feminine has versus the masculine, the feminine is receiving and the masculine is giving. So in this situation, it was stronger on her right side because there was a lack of balance with her, like practicing receiving support and trusting, which is like both of them are very like feminine traits. And so like another element here in terms of energy, that there was needed to be like a balance, because we all have like masculine and feminine energies within us. And it also goes for within, like what in our own experience, and also collectively. So as you know, we've been living in a world in the past thousands of years that the masculine has been very much like very dominant. So the process is to balance the feminine now. Like, and now it's like the whole feminine rising and all of this movement that's happening right now in the collective. It's part of that. But it's the same thing for within us. As within, so without, as above, so below. So within us, there is importance to like balance those energies. So this is how we work with the energetics behind it and the chakras, and really becoming aware of like what's happening behind the scenes. And the reality is that yes, our body holds all of this wisdom. And by her actually taking the time and go in and feel the sensations and the feelings that's arising in her body, she was able to receive all this guidance and healing, and she was able to transmute the energetics behind it. And this is something that is available for all of us. Like the wisdom that our physical body holds is beyond like measure. So anyways, I just wanted to hop on and share this real quick. And if you're feeling called to work with something like that, whether if it's something that is coming up in your intimate relationships or your other type of relationships, maybe something around safety or relationship with your body, with food, or whatever it may be, communication, being able to forgive others, or literally anything you can think of, emotional, physical, mental, energetic, then we can definitely work with all of these things with this method, with this practice. So in the description below, you'll find my website, and in the website there's an application form to fill out. Once you fill out, we see if we're a good energetic match, and if we are, then we can dive into this work together. And I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you have had experience where you had something coming up in your body and you were able to actually learn from that experience in your own life, I would love to hear about it. So yeah, please feel free to share. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.